This channel is made possible through the support of generous listeners just like you. If you would like to be a part of helping us bring our message of hope, peace, love, and spiritual truth to the world, please consider heading to experienceofthesoul.com/support, where you can join us as an ongoing patron or simply make a one-time gift. Blessings on the journey, dear friend.
Natural Awakenings Magazine and Zen Living Realty present The Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly show featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from diverse perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 111, Divinely Irresistible. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I am the host, and I'm here today in my home studio with my producer.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Croft. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 111 of the Authentic Spiritual Journey. As always, I hope that you're well and safe and healthy, and just kind of keep going on through, keeping on.
Come on, people. Let's keep going. We're trudging through.
Yeah.
And I tell you right now, for some of us, it feels like we're trudging through quicksand. As soon as we think we get going, we go back a couple steps. So I want to just let you know we support you in this. We're in this with you. And also to let you know to kind of keep the faith, because a lot of people I'm working with are moving forward in really powerful ways. So it's like we always want to be aware of what's going on. We always want to be in reality with what's going on. We also want to know and remember that what's happening outside of us does not decide our happiness.
That's right.
It doesn't decide our success. And really, that's what my work is all about, is about going to the inner, into the inner realms, receiving guidance, and doing what's ours to do. So we're happy you're with us anyway, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Happy to be in the studio again.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to the time. We had a brief window where we were able to kind of connect, and I think we're close. I think we're close because you haven't traveled in a while, and even though cases in Florida, but
I know I'm so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh, but yeah, looking forward to having you back in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, this is working out well and having distanced things, and you have your own little recording set up, and I've got my rig over here. Yeah,
I've done several calls recently. I can't remember. I had a meeting the other day with somebody I didn't know well, and they said, "Well, that looks like your recording studio." I said, "Well, it is."
That's right.
It definitely is.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, kind of moving forward, how this, like the impact this will have on like real estate, and as distance communication and we'll have a home recording, not a home recording studio, but it's just, will dining rooms stop being a thing, and little home offices with these kind of setups?
I don't know if you remember when we had Ray Perez, Ray and Nidia's company, Zen Living Realty. They're a wonderful sponsor for us. And on that show, I want to call that, we predicted that there would be a different need in homes. This is when everybody else was saying, "Oh, this will be over in a couple months." I said, no, this is here to stay. The stats don't lie. And we're going to be seeing that. And I just spoke to him the other day, and he was pointing out that so many of his clients were looking for homes with home offices to do that very thing, exactly like I'm doing here. So
I absolutely think it's kind of like, once upon a time, all the homes had, parlors and all that stuff because they did a lot of entertaining. I think we're going to see a shift in real estate development and some of the amenities that the modern homes are going to need to have.
Well, and even already, I mean, just 20 years ago, everybody had a dining room, and I don't know a single person with an actual dining room. I know most people have a small table to the side or an eat-in kitchen, and there's no whole rooms now that are dedicated for eating. So culture is rapidly changing in the way we think about work.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way we think about home. And that moves us into perfectly our title today. Dave, you want to give the title?
The title for today's show is Divinely Irresistible. Now,
Boom.
that reminds me of like that Robert Palmer song, you know, Simply Irresistible.
Exactly. That is simply irresistible. Right. This is a topic. I love this title, Divinely Irresistible. So I want you right now, no matter where you are, whether you're cooking dinner, whether you're putting away clothes, you're going down the road, I want you to say with me, I am divinely irresistible. Say that with me now together. I
I
am
am divinely
divinely
irresistible.
irresistible. I'm divinely irresistible. What does this mean? Well, this means that you so live from love that you cannot help but draw good, success, love, and good things happening all around you because you are living from love, because you are living from God. And we know that love changes things. We know that love raises our vibration. We know that living from love just then changes the whole feeling tone of our lives. So to become divinely irresistible means I'm just going to soak myself in God love. I'm going to live from the heart, right? And it also means that I'm not going to play a victim. I'm not going to blame everybody else, for my situation. And in ultimately also means that um, when we're truly living from love, when we're truly acting from the heart, that we always want to give that away. And so we want to naturally be, in service to others. So I want to break some of those down. But divinely irresistible. Boom, baby, claim it. Divinely irresistible. I've had
Funny.
fun with this one. I am divinely irresistible. So I want you to just say that on your own. I'm not even going to say it with you. Just, I am divinely irresistible. Just claim that for yourself. So first, I want to talk about its opposite.
Mm.
I want to first talk about its opposite. So, well, in thinking about this, I was reminded of a scripture, and Jesus said, "Be in the world, but not of the world." Right? So when I say the world, I'm sure when I say that, it doesn't bring up thoughts of love and compassion and forgiveness. Right now, what it brings up is illness, disease, fear, anger, rage. And so on the world stage, these these karmic plays are being uh, played out in a really profound and egregious way. They're so um, obvious. They are almost filthy
Mm.
in the way things are playing out. News is now entertainment digest, and so be in the world, not of the world. When all we're trying to do is, know the latest gossip, make somebody feel bad, or try to get our way, we are being of the world. So, and I don't know. I'm sure we've all been this person. I was going to say, do you know anybody who was always irritable and picks out what's wrong instead of what's right? Have you ever been around that?
I've been that.
Right. I was going to say, has any of us ever been there? So we've all been that
Yeah.
from
Oh
time to
yeah.
time. And uh, because I've worked with people for so long, I've been able to observe and experience a wide array of human behavior. And I myself have been at times pulled into behavior that I knew on one level wasn't good for me, but it was so tempting to go into that negative energy that I got sucked in, before I knew it. Well, what we know is that these lower energies, this irritability, this like gossip energy, this energy that needs to always be right, it will never bring what it is we desire. So just think about that for a minute. Think of all the times that you have raged against something. Think of all the times that you have tried to make people around you wrong, that you were walking around irritable and you want everybody to change just for you to feel better. Think about that. And think about the reality that that energy will never get me where I want to go. Never. As a matter of fact, we are actively working against ourselves when that becomes the feeling tone for our life. And of course, I want to mention we see this played out on Facebook every day, every moment of the day. I don't know. I'm still dealing with how I feel about Facebook. It's a wonderful tool. It's a wonderful tool to help people know what you're doing and share some good feelings and energy. But what can happen, of course, is you don't believe what I believe, and I'm going to tell you all the 10 ways you're wrong. And in the moment, boy, it sure feels good and it sure feels powerful. But I want you to hear me say it absolutely will not ever get you what you want. And
It's
here's,
yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of like fast food or candy, right?
Yeah,
It's in moderation. It is high fructose corn syrup media
for the soul.
for the soul, and in little bits it's good, but you do not want a steady diet of it, or
No,
it will turn to poison.
it really does. It was years ago when I was when I first started my recovery program in Al Anon, and I heard somebody say resentment is like taking a poison and hoping someone else will die. I was like, huh? Oh, you know, and it taught me a lesson because of a lack of forgiveness for some things that had happened, when I was a very young child, and I realized that, you know, um, and I'm not minimizing anything that happened because those things were abusive, but that the longer I held on to them, they were still hurting me today. And so when I hold on to negative energy, when I hold on to he done me wrong, she done me wrong, or I seek to tell everybody how I'm a victim in life. In the short term, that gets us a little attention, but it ultimately is not going to get us what we want. And I don't even need to put it in spiritual terms. All I need you to hear me say is anytime you do that, realize you are working against yourself in moving forward. And I'm being so pointed about this today in particular and during this time because we have a real opportunity for change right now. And instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing, and what's been done or hadn't been done or whatever happened to you in the past, we have a real opportunity to go deep within our heart, deep within our soul, and really engage with the divine that we are and to begin to live from love. And when we would begin to live from love, it changes the way we view the world. And so ultimately, we seek to live from love, but sometimes first we have to hear, like, what is it not, So playing the victim, being irritable all the time, cranking, with all the people in the house. And, we all have our moments. I'm not saying we're not human, but we don't want that to become a regular part of our lives. I will tell you honestly that a few years ago, I noticed I was really a cranky, far more than normal. And I went to my doctor and I said, I don't know what's wrong. I've done all the spiritual work I know to do. I have a therapist. I'm constantly working on myself. And the doctor said, let's do some blood work. And it turned out there was actually a physical reason this was going on. So I'm saying this because um, all behavior is communication. So if you're irritable and you can't get rid of this irritation and you're working on yourself, there might be something else for you to look at. There could be a spiritual thing going on. There could be a physical thing going on. You could be in a situation that you are not happy. So this is why we lift these things up. They are complex issues. And so there might be a reason, certainly there is. If you're walking around in this state thinking everybody done you wrong, ultimately what we learn when we look deeply at some of these behaviors, if we're, constantly saying he did this, she did that, and this happened, that happened. Every time we tell the story, what happens is we are cementing that way of life in our consciousness, and we are putting that out as our reality. And so, in some strange way, we are working against ourselves, subconsciously. Because then we become known as somebody that these things happen to. You've heard it said, probably, there was a saying I heard growing up, man, if it wasn't for bad news, he'd have no news at all. Have you ever heard that, Dave?
I've heard if it wasn't for bad luck, born under a bad sign, that old blues song. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have no luck at all.
Right. So everything I'm saying though is, well, the precursor to this is I assume you want to be living a life of love, acceptance, and peace. I assume that you want to operate in the best interest of your soul. I assume you want to be on purpose every day. I assume you want to see the world change for good. I want you to just think about that for a minute. So if we want to change the world for good, if we want to live from love, and yet we're doing all these behaviors, this is an important question to be asking. When we live from love, it changes the way we view the world. And of course, when I'm saying living from love, it means that we are so connected to God. It means we are so connected to our higher self that we love ourselves first, and then that love emanates out to our relationships. That love emanates out to our relationships. So when I say the word love, I also know there seems like there's something soft about that. But I want you to hear me say that love is strong. Love is courageous. Love definitely includes compassion, but is not passive. Our goal is to live from love. And when we do, we become divinely irresistible. Success will follow you when you live from love. Success will follow you when you live from love. So before we go to the break, I want you to consciously think about, how much time am I dedicating to my God connection? And however much time you are committing to your God connection is going to be the percentage you can live from love. I hope that made sense the way I said that.
Yeah, I think so.
So here's what I mean. If you have little intention around your spiritual life, it's going to be hard to live from love if you keep connecting with the world around you instead of going inward. Because it's by going inward that we get love, not by going out. Even though every love song that's ever been written, I'm going to die without you, I've got to have you to know love. That's a different thing. I'm talking about God love. like agape love. Real God love is from within. So as you're thinking about how much time every day am I dedicating to my spiritual practice, that's how much you're going to be able to live from love or not. Remember, love changes the world, and as we live from love, we become divinely irresistible. This is our thought for the day. Become divinely irresistible. Okay, we're going to talk more about this right after these few brief messages.
We'll return to the program in just a few moments, but first, we wanted to give a special word of thanks to our podcast partner, Natural Awakenings Magazine of Central Florida, Greater Orlando. Each month, Natural Awakenings magazines across the country take a practical look at the latest natural approaches to nutrition, fitness, creative expression, personal growth, and sustainable living. Natural Awakenings magazine is a free publication and is available in selected stores, health and education centers, healing centers, public libraries, and wherever free publications are located. You could learn more, including advertising opportunities for your business, by calling 407-628-0705. We'd also like to extend our special thanks to Zen Living Realty. Zen Living Realty's mission is to mindfully serve, connect, and positively impact their customers, partners, and community through their Zen approach to real estate. Their vision is to be the most trusted real estate brokerage in the Central Florida area. You can reach Zen Living Realty at zenlivingrealty.com or call 407-800-2717. And now we return you to this week's episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey with your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. I hope you were thinking in the break and also, of course, listening to those important messages about our sponsors. We have some really amazing sponsors and we feel so honored and blessed. I mean, some people give $2 a month and some are giving hundreds a month, and they all make a difference. They all make sure that we stay on the air. So I can't thank you enough. And I hope you're enjoying this show. I wanted to give this title because I thought it might make you think a little bit. I want to be divinely irresistible. What does this mean? So I want to talk some more about it. Dave, any thoughts on it so far? You've been kind of quiet today.
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in.
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
Well, I work with several people in the corporate world. It just so happens that in the last few months, I worked with a lot of people in a corporate setting. And, I hear very often that it's kind of a dog eat dog world. Somebody's trying to outdo somebody and everybody's trying to, CYA, just to make, nobody wants to do anything wrong or take responsibility, And so what I've noticed with so many people that I'm working with is that when they decide, I mean, this is so interesting from an observation standpoint, when they decide they are going to shift their thinking about their role, that they're going to shift their thinking about the emails they receive, that they're going to shift their thinking, into even how they view the management style, that them shifting changes their whole world. And so when you're able to shift how you're viewing a situation, then this new awareness begins to come forward, and then you draw success to you because you're clear, you're in sync with who you are, and you have like a clearer lens to see through. And most of the success from the people I've worked with seems to be shifting perspective that someone else should be doing something different. And so if you are living from love, if your attention is in your heart, if you're literally, putting out this love energy, well, what happens? It doesn't matter what the management style is. People want to know you, people want to be with you, and people want to promote you. I've seen it many, many times. So I worked with somebody recently, did not get the promotion at first they were supposed to get, shifted their consciousness, the promotion came. Somebody else, dealing with money with their boss, didn't get it, had a lot of grace, had a lot of love, and money came. Right? They had to shift first. And what we always seem to want is the world to be what we want, rather for us to be what we want.
Yeah, it seems kind of tied to forgiveness work, but it goes beyond just, just forgiveness work. But there's definitely, like, hearing you, I mean, just recently, a hurt from Shannon's past kind of reared its ugly head. And I think I've talked about this on the
Sure.
show before, and I think she's worked through forgiveness stuff, but every time it hurts her, then I get like and I know it's something I'm working on. I'm just not there yet, if I'm just being honest. And so hearing you talk, it for me, because I know my stuff is forgiveness work. That's
Yep.
what's ringing in my spirit right now. But it's interesting and I think really helpful to hear that it's beyond that. It's not just, letting go of either the victim mentality or the righteous indignation of seeing, somebody get by with something, even though there's no contrition on their side.
Right. Well, Byron Katie in her book called Loving What Is, by the way, I want to put that in the show notes. That's a great
Right.
book. But in her book, Loving What Is, she calls that resisting reality. You know, so when she talks about that, and it's over and over and over in the book, when she talks about that, it's over and over and over in the book. And she says when you are fighting with you're fighting with reality when you want something to be other than what it is. If I was chronically late for our sessions, which I'm not, I'm usually early, but let's say I was chronically late for our sessions, and and um, Dave got mad because he said, "Why can't she be on time? Why can't she be on time? Why can't she be on time?" Well, she isn't. So Dave's resistance is not going to change whether I'm on time or not.
Right.
However, if Dave says, "Hey, coffee's brewing," I'm probably likely to be early, so I make sure I get myself a cup of coffee. But see, that act comes from love, which, by the way, he did today. Hey, do you need coffee? I'll put some on. You need some coffee? That's going to get my attention.
We haven't figured out how to deliver it wirelessly.
Haven't figured out how to deliver it yet. Virtually. Well, it's called Uber Eats, Dave.
There
Come
you
on.
go. I'm sorry. It's on its way. It's on its way.
It's on its way. But so being divinely irresistible, you will not be able to keep success away. You will not be able to keep success away if you become divinely irresistible. Everybody wants to be around love that's centered in God. And I mean real love. This is not sentimentality. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about emotion and sentimentality. What I'm speaking of is true God connection. And it just starts radiating out of your pores, out of your eyes, out of the way you speak, out of the way you want to, connect with people. And again, this works everywhere. I can hear somebody saying, well, that doesn't work where I work. Well, that would be a very good discussion to have. I'm going to just entertain that for the person that I know was saying that. Well, it may be you need to change jobs. But first, I would try being divinely irresistible, because there are times where the systems you work in are not beneficial and are not in alignment with who you are. That's true. But if you are living from love and something is not working, then you start to ask yourself the deeper question. Is this mine to do? Is this the right place for me? Like every other area of my life is working, but this isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting. Right? So looking at that, thinking about how being divinely irresistible changes who you are. Years ago, I had a difficult work situation, and in general, I've been so lucky, so fortunate to have really good work situations, and this one though was quite difficult, and I really did a lot of work around it because my manager, my manager's manager, it was just a very difficult situation. And I was so surprised because I was working with other ministers. So I was thinking I made up this story that it was going to be this utopian workplace. And of course, we were all just people doing the best we could. And I don't hold anything negatively against them ultimately because they were doing their best, So but at the time, I was really struggling and I was trying forgiveness work. I was, just really resisting, all of their behavior. And I went into a time of prayer and like I said, I was really meditating on it. And I was like, God, just show me what to do. Because I felt like all day long it was just not working. And God said, well, you work for me. You don't work for them. And so my affirmation became, I only work for God. I will be here as long as God wants me to be here. And if it's time to go, I will go. Nobody's wrong. Nobody has to be wrong. It's okay. I just may not fit here, and that's okay.
Mm.
And so I stayed in the job about another year, and then it was time to go. And in my prayer all year, I said that affirmation every day. I even put it on my inbox. And then one day, the funny thing was, one day my manager came in, who was in my mind difficult, and he goes, "Oh my God, I love that affirmation. Can I steal it?" I said, "Absolutely." And, it really strengthened our relationship that we were using that. Of course, come to find out, one of the reasons he was being, pretty difficult to work with is his boss was piling stuff on him
Mm.
and he was stressed trying to do the best he could because we were also friends, so it was a lot to process and kind of traverse because we were also friends, so so I learned a lot. And what I learned is that no matter how much I resisted them, it didn't change their behavior. I had to change. I had to change. And so, what I'm speaking of is centering yourself in God, centering yourself in love, centering yourself in your divine connection time. Because when you shift into love, love changes your world. Love changes your world.
Yeah, I think that's really important, the idea that things things can shift without someone being wrong.
Yes, yes.
Whether it's a relationship or a job, you don't have to hate your job for it not to be the right job. You don't have to
Oh, not at
you
all.
don't you don't have to get out of a relationship because
Totally.
somebody doesn't have to be wrong. You know what
No,
I mean?
right. It's like, well, very simply put, sometimes the karma is just done.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just finished whatever you came there, to do. And so, yeah, so I'm applying this to work, but of course it applies to anything.
Yeah, well, I think I've shared it on the show about me and Shannon, spent a couple of years serving at a church it was her parents' church in Albemarle, North Carolina, which was like an hour one way and an hour back. So, I mean, we were spending, probably close to 3 hours on the road every Sunday. And we did that for a couple of years. And then just suddenly, I mean, nothing had happened. There was no
Right,
drama. There was no
right,
big church shakeup or anything. It was just, and we're done. And it was
right,
it was really obvious.
right.
And yeah, so we left and made room for whoever was next,
Hmm.
and we definitely have been through that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trust. So the piece I haven't talked about, and I want to end our time together, the last few minutes on this. Um, um, let's see. When you know God, your trust of everything goes up because, and your ability to love really goes up because, um, yeah, in the last year, I've had a real deepening of my own God awareness. And it doesn't mean, I haven't dealt with difficult situations. I've dealt with a lot of difficult situations actually in the last year, but I have so much trust of God moving forward that um, I know I'm connected. I know I'm living from love. And I know because of how I feel. I know because of how I feel when I see weird behavior in others. I know because how I view what's going on in the world. I know by the fact that I'm not on high blood pressure medicine and every it's like runs in my family. All of my siblings are on this high blood pressure stuff. And I know because of the connections I make with people on a daily basis, men, women, black, white, young, old, all different careers, um, all different income levels, sexual orientation. I know that God loves me, is in me, and that God is working on my behalf. So if someone acts out or is angry towards me or whatever, I can absolutely know that they're in their process. I can love them through it and or keep my distance, which is better for me. That I can be in love. I can be totally connected to God and still not have to blame anybody.
Mm.
Even if they're, why did you do that? I don't have to explain anymore.
Yeah.
It's okay. They can be angry, whatever. I'm good. And what I'm sensing in my journey is this overwhelming love that is coming towards me right now from friends, from loved ones, from family members, from people I've served over, the last 3 years. I have had so many connections in the last year. Some of them are people I served 10 and 15 years ago, and we're still connected today. Thousands of people. I know that living from love changes your world. I know it. I know that it gives you a strength and a confidence and a courage that you don't have otherwise. I did not have otherwise. I did not have it otherwise.
Well, it reminds me of, I've not dated in a very, very long time, been married 26 years and all that. But, you hear stories about an encouragement from people saying that, confidence is attractive,
Yes.
and somebody who can walk into a room or go on a date and they're completely self-confident, and that exudes attractiveness more than physical beauty or anything like that. And so that's kind of what this feels like to me. If somebody walks in and they are just like spiritually confident, spiritually rooted and grounded,
Hmm.
that is spiritually. And of course, I'm not talking about like sexual attraction. But it's spiritually
Yes.
attractive. Whether
Well,
they whether
divinely.
yeah,
Hmm.
whether the recipient is necessarily spiritual or not.
Hmm.
You go in there and into your workplace and you are, divinely irresistible, and your
Okay.
boss is going to pick up on it whether they
Oh,
know it or not.
well, yes, and of course, what we know about energy is even though we seem like separate beings, when somebody gets in our, you know, our energy field, when somebody walks into this energy field that we are, many people call it our auric field, some
Mhm.
people call it our etheric nature. You know, if somebody's near us, they're going to feel that.
Yeah.
Who does not want to feel divine love? We all want to feel it. And so, yes, you're absolutely right, Dave. It is like it's catching. People
Mhm.
go, "Oh, wow. He's got it going on or she's got it going on or oh my goodness, who is that?" You know.
Yeah.
And um I think people that I consider to be really I don't want to say awakened spiritually, but that have had awakening moments very often carry this energy I'm talking about. And it's because it's not from the personality, it just exudes like from them.
Mhm.
And I've known it in a priest. I've known it in a Buddhist, like a lama. I've known it. I've known it in a unity minister, and I've known it in children. When somebody knows who they are, when they know truly that God loves them and that they are loved, it is success always follows them. Success always follows them. And again, success meaning good relationships, prosperity, love of all kinds, financial abundance, peace of mind, a beautiful home. That success just follows them because they are connected to source. I've seen it many, many times. And actually, I was just thinking a moment ago when I was speaking about Jane Elizabeth Hart, who we just had on. Years ago, she didn't mention anything about this in her interview, but years ago, she was a fashion designer. She designed clothing. And she really had to, let go of that field, when she went full time into spiritual teaching and lessons, and she worked at Unity Village also. And but she always carried with her this just divine energy. I've never talked to her when I did not feel it, and it's attractive. It's very attractive, meaning. Again, like you're saying, when we use the word attractive now, everybody wants to sexualize it, but it's not that way. There's this energy that makes people say, I want to know that.
That's right.
I want to be with the winner. And that one feels like a winner. And it's because they are living from love. So I want to wrap this up. I could talk all day about this. But in terms of you thinking about it for your own life, remember that a real important aspect is changing ourselves. The world is what it is, and it's always going to be. And so rather than reacting to, we want to shift our thinking, really source in God, source in love and that divine connection. So then as we change, we do live from love, and we can become like this magnet that starts attracting our good. Because if you are divinely irresistible, you're not going to be irritable. You're not going to be complaining. You're not going to be the victim. And you're going to naturally want to give away. You're going to want to be of service. You're going to attract good to you. So I want you to really feel into this idea and even maybe affirm it. I am divinely irresistible. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Get up in the morning, get yourself ready for the day, even if you stay at home and work all day, and say, I am divinely irresistible. Divinely irresistible. And then take time to spend time alone in your meditation time. Take time to be still, to connect with God, which of course is the source of all love. So this is always our prayer for you, dear friend, that you know and you live this authentic spiritual journey. We are so happy that you join us for our shows. Thank you for all the ways you share our show on social media with your friends. And I know Jane Elizabeth just shared it with 1,000 people on one of her lists. So we just give thanks for all the ways that you are partnering with us to bring this message to the world. This is our goal. So thank you for joining us today, dear friend, and blessings on the journey.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey presented by Natural Awakenings Magazine and Zen Living Realty. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is also made possible through the continued support of our angel patrons, Aggie Payton, Anna Evans, Arlene Meyer, Diana Cox, Leslie Williams, Nora Miles, Peter Gibson, Paul Caswell, Susanna Garcia, and Taryn Tucker. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2020, Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.